This week on Cruisin'.
It's almost 19 feet long. It's 227.1 inches.
Plus,
the flares here on this Bronco top here are custom order Bushwacker flares.
Cruisin' from Chopper's Hot Rod Association's Rod and Custom Show in North Olmsted, Ohio. It starts right now. Hi, welcome to Cruisin'. I'm Bill Bronco. You know how when you're planning a car show, you have to worry about things like weather? Well, not if you're the guys with the Chopper's Rod and Custom Show. They've been doing this thing 65 years. One reason? Well, they do it inside at the Sportsplex in North Olmsted, Ohio. Lots of great cars, the region's best. Come on, take a look. What is it? This is your second Model A. What is it about the Model A that you really like?
Well, I always liked them when I was a kid, so I found one and I bought it.
What do you really like about it, though?
I like driving it. I like the looks of it. It's kind of a cool car.
Now, okay, I can look at this and go, okay, somebody really cleaned up a 1930s car, but under the hood, what are we looking at?
It's got the original 4-cylinder engine.
Really?
Yep.
So what's it like to drive?
Well, it's a lot of fun to drive, but it don't drive like a Cadillac now.
What's different about it?
Well, it's just the gears is different, the brakes is different. It's got manual brakes. Takes a little while to stop it.
Now, how fast it'll get going?
Oh, this will run 70.
Really?
Yeah.
At what point do you feel the speed?
Oh, about 55, you can feel it start vibrating a little bit. But the engine's been kind of redone a little bit.
But even with because I mean, we're talking about 1930s setup, so the suspension and everything, I mean, is all that kind of reproduced the original, or?
It's original, all original.
So?
All except the paint. The paints, they didn't have this color in 1930.
There's a lot of room on that dashboard, but it has everything you need?
Yeah, everything. It's got the temperature gauge is out here. The gas gauge is in there.
Like when you pull into a parking lot, say you're going to a show and you're like, oh, let's stop and grab something to eat. You pull into a parking lot, you got to hear all sorts of great comments. What do people say?
Yeah. You got to get ready to answer a lot of questions.
Yeah. So what are some of the questions you get, or the comments?
They just ask you all kinds. What kind of motors? They got a big motors. Is it got disc brakes and all that stuff? You know, it's got standard. It's got the manual brakes on it.
Okay, how often are you asked about to blow your horn?
About 10 times a day if I go somewhere.
And how often do you actually do it?
Oh, I do it every time. If they want me to touch it, I touch the horn.
What's your favorite part of this?
I like the way it's the paint on it, the body. It's different color. It's different from any other one.
Somebody had chopped off the back half of the car, so all there was just the two front doors and the cowl. And so, you know, you make a new back half of it, make it look like a pickup truck and go from there.
Now, was that your plan from the start, or how did this happen?
Yeah, it was my plan from the start. As soon as I saw the cab in a body shop that was closing down, or the front half clip, I came up with the idea.
All right, so as you're doing this, well, looking at it now, what excites you the most about this thing?
The cab itself, the way it looks with the scallops on the roof, and just the whole thing together. I'm anxious to start driving it because I just finished it a little while ago. So I'm looking forward to the cruise-ins this summer.
And so basically, we're catching you. This truck has 5 miles on it?
It only has 5 miles on it, just to test it and make sure that it ran.
Let's start with the back bed, with the wood. Tell us about that.
Okay, the wood that's in the back bed used to be crate wood from where I worked. They would chip in windshields, and I saved the wood, and it had interesting grain pattern on it, so I used it for the floor of the bed. I had to tub the bed because the rear tires are 18 inches wide. And so you have to make room for them so they don't stick out.
Take us inside the cab. Now, you did all this work yourself?
Yeah, I do all my own work as far as the body work and the upholstery work. The only thing I didn't do inside the cab was upholster the seat. But all the other work, the door pans, the headliner, the dash panels and everything, I do myself.
Now, you have other cars. Why did you want to do the Model A?
It's always been a passion of mine. I really do like the Model A's the most.
So you're a big Model A guy, and then you stick a Chevy in here?
That's the only way you can make them run. That's a joke, but no. To build a street rod with Chevy parts is a lot cheaper than to use the Ford parts.
The Cherry Coach Company, tell me about it.
Okay, Cherry Coach name for this came from when I was in high school. The wood shop teacher was building a C-cab street rod, and that's what he was calling it, was the Cherry Coach. Kind of, you know, it's like a nickname that you would give a car. Oh, that's Cherry, you know?
All right, so what's the next one?
I haven't figured that one out yet. Maybe a trailer to tow behind this. Little teardrop trailer. That might be the next thing.
The Cherry trailer?
Yeah.
Of course we're just getting started, because think about it. If the Chopper's Rod and Custom Show is going to take over the Sportsplex and interrupt youth soccer, we got plenty of things to get to. We'll be right back. Now, back to cruising.
This was an expensive car because an average car was around $22,200 back then. So this was 3 times the cost of an average car. Here at the show there's a Cadillac, and that went for around $5,700. So this was a little more expensive.
Well, but I mean, you have lengthwise, it's almost 3 times as long as many cars.
Yeah, it's true. It's almost 19 feet long. It's 227.1 inches.
Why did you want the Continental Mark IV?
Actually, I was looking for a car at the time with a gaudy dash, because you're in front of the dashboard and that's what you look at all the time. So
isn't that gaudy.
Well, I don't want to say gaudy, I want to say interesting. That's a better word than gaudy. But I wanted just something with some character, and a good friend of mine owned Cleveland Motor Exchange. And he had this in storage, and the man disappeared and didn't pay a storage bill for 15 years. So he applied for the title, he had this in storage, and he knew I was looking for a car. He said, "Tom, you're interested in the Lincoln?" I took a look at it, and with this front end that looks interesting and maybe a little evil if you have that mindset, and it has the hot rod Lincoln motor, the 430, and it has the breezeway window that goes back, I said, yeah, I think I am interested in it. And it had 25,000 miles on it at the time. Original, it's all original. So I said, yeah, I'll take it. So we negotiated a gift price. Woody's a good friend of mine. So I have the Lincoln.
So tell me what it's like to drive something like this.
It glides down the highway. The 430 motor is pretty cool. It shifts out of first at 62 miles an hour into second, and it'll shift out of second at 102 miles an hour if you put your foot in it.
Tell me about well, first, the interior is kind of unusual. I mean, it looks like a living room.
It's a living room, especially in the passenger seat. I'm tall, I'm 6'4". I sit there and I have to lean forward to reach the dashboard. My wife's tall, she's 5'7", and she looks like a little kid sitting in there and kicking her feet. It's a huge car. People get in the back and you're spacious. The downside, I do have to tell you, there's a downside, is gas mileage. Ford specs was 6.3 city, 9.7 highway. I will say we have gotten 10 at times. At times.
How often do you drive it?
You have to drive the cars. I mean, I appreciate the ones that, get pushed off the trailer, but to me, the memories, not, you have this car that you pushed off a trailer. It's a time, I know Rob and I, the best time we recall is We took the cars to a show, but we went to get dog food for his dog, and then we went to a Dairy Queen. That's what we remember. It's not all the thousands you put into the car or the trophies you won. It's we went to get dog food and you know, a Sunday at Dairy Queen. We talked about it. We joked about my car's faster than yours. That's where the fun is.
At Christmas time, my wife bought lottery tickets for everybody. Everybody got 5 lottery tickets. It so happened we won the lottery on a lottery ticket and had a few extra dollars after paying the bills and what have you, and I went looking on eBay and spotted this. It was very clean. It had 38,500 miles on it.
Okay, so tell me about what's special, because you did everything on this, right?
I did everything except the vinyl top and the headliner. A friend of mine, Terry Mears, helped me paint it in my garage. And all the molding, all the chrome, this is aluminum. That was anodized before. I took the anodization off of it. Took all the nicks and dings out of it with a hammer and a chisel. I made chisels to fit the ding to knock them out. And then I ground them and polished them all. If anybody's ever polished stainless steel or aluminum, it took hours and hours to do.
Well, because yeah, this was like a 12-year project, right?
Yes, I got it in 2004. I had stomach cancer and stuff in between. I finished it like in 2015.
Go through this though, because I mean, attention to detail, even the headlights are different.
Yeah, that's, I have insomnia, I guess. I lay in bed at night trying to think of things to do. There's a lot of little tricks that I did to it. These are Barracuda marker lights. The headlights are HID headlights.
All right, and even like you open the door and you get the Mopar logo. Why was that important to you?
Just something I could do, wire in. It has power windows, power door locks, power antenna, electric dumps underneath. All of it's wired into the console. I did all the wiring, everything's hidden under the hood. All the wiring's hidden, there's no wires showing.
What did you change inside, like with the dash and everything? Is that all the way it was, or what did you change?
I pulled the whole dash apart, reconditioned it. You look at all the needles on the dash, they're all the same color. Even the extra gauges I bought, all of it is the same color. So little details that, you know, I paid attention to that most people wouldn't notice looking at it.
What's it like to drive this?
It gets a little squirrely. It's like I say, 700 foot-pounds of torque, and even you have fat tires on it. It's all over the place. It's fun. It's what you shouldn't be doing, but you do it anyhow and have fun.
What are you most proud of with it?
Most proud of it, I guess the little things that I did to it, like the Mopar on the door. It's got power windows, power door locks, all that. It's wired into the console. I mean, no one does that. On the firewall, there's a phono plug. I have that wired into the starter so I can crank the engine around and adjust the valves. I don't have to get in, turn the key or anything. I can plug my timing light into it. I have power from my timing light. Just things insomnia makes you think of laying in bed. So there's a lot of little things that I do. The paint, Terry Mears, like I said, a real good friend of mine. We painted in the garage, had a few beers, and you can't argue with that.
Up next.
The laser here is the center point, and from there we measure the sides and make sure the laser is straight in the center with the body.
Coming up on Cruising.
On this edition of Off-Roading with the Rust Belt Boys here, today at Rust Belt Broncos, our vast inventory of Bronco parts we have on hand. We can build over 80 Broncos with the parts we have on hand. We're the largest Bronco builder in North America. And what you see here is a 65 Bronco here, 66 with the wheel flares. And it absolutely looks gorgeous. The wheel flares all ready to ship out here. You can check it out, we'll go around it, but we deliver all our Broncos fully assembled to make it ease of use on the end user. So we'll walk around it, look at the gaps, look at everything on this, and it's ready to go. It's going to a customer of ours in Georgia, and they're gonna absolutely love it when they get it. Now what you see here is the fitting of the tailgate panel here at Rust Belt Broncos. The laser here is the center point, and from there we measure the sides and make sure the laser is straight in center with the body. We also check the lines horizontal to make sure as well the lines line up. So when you get your Bronco tub, it is ready to go. Once again, we'll film the complete one here ready to ship, and we'll check out the lines. The flares here on this Bronco tub here are custom order Bushwacker flares. We can do this for your Bronco build at no charge. This Bronco here tub retails for $14,000 out the door the way it sits with the rolling cart. So if you want one, order one. About 15 weeks delivery time right now. And when you look at this here, like I said, it's all custom done. It looks really good, fully assembled, 1966 Ford Bronco. As with all Rust Belt body shells here and tubs, they're all fully customizable for your taste and needs. This one here going to our customer in Georgia, and they can't wait to get it. And as you see here, it's fully customized for them, so we can exceed your expectations here at rustbeltbroncos.com. Give us a call at 330-533-0048 and get your body on order.
Hi, I'm Bernie Goliath, Chief Car Idiot, and welcome to Things to Know. Did you know that the first commercially sold automobile took place on March 24th, 1898? It was in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was at the Winton factory. Robert Allison from Port Carbon, Pennsylvania, took an interest to these contraptions, and he came down and bought one for $1,000. Thanks for joining us on Things to Know. Till next time, happy motoring.
Coming up.
Kept progressing, and she liked it more, and started wanting to change the car. And my dad was, oh, let's do it.
Next on Cruising. Welcome back to the Choppers Hot Rod Association's Rod and Custom Show on Cruising. When you talk to a kid from a racing family, it's dad that's doing all the racing, but you've got one just kick-ass mom?
Yep. They took it, my dad, they went to the track once, just to get her out there. She was interested. She had fun the first couple of times just running street class, and just kept progressing, and she liked it more, and started wanting to change the car. And my dad was, oh, let's do it. And the rest, they just kept going. It was amazing to watch as a kid. You know, you got your dad with his race car, all his friends, and then you got Mary. And Mary was beating everybody. And then my dad put his car away and just focused on Proud Mary.
So as a kid, you're like, when it starts, you're like, your earliest memories, you're 6 years old, and you're growing up with mom doing all this. But then at what point did you start really getting interested in the car itself?
I started young, and then my first one, I had a 66 Malibu. I started having fun, and then I just kept getting different cars. You know, I'm young. Cars don't last young kids.
At what point did you really start to come back to this one and be like, this is something special?
From sitting so long. It sat so long, and it didn't deserve to sit. When Mary passed away, getting my dad to do anything was very hard. So a few incidents happened, and I talked my dad into, hey, let's clean it up, let's get it out, let's see what we got. My dad put it in my name. Well, once he put it in my name, I'm getting it running. I'm taking it out. First couple of times out were hard. Didn't want to run. You're breaking things. It's been sitting for over 20 years. So now we're taking our time. I got it clean. A few more parts on it, and I'll be right where I want to be, but it's hard to drive it. You get emotional when you do drive it, because you know what this car is. You know what the history of the car is, and then you know she's up there watching you and you don't want to mess up.
Like my wife tells me, quit being a sissy, hit the gas pedal.
What is it with the women in your family? I'm scared.
No, but so it's fun. I mean, you get behind the wheel and you feel all that horsepower in your foot. It's adrenaline. And then when you're going, you're just like holding on. It's like, wow.
What was it like? Because you got your dad out with it and came to shows. What was it like for your dad when, you know, years later, here we are?
Watching his emotions, it was hard to look at him because when he first saw it, it was like, you know, uh-oh. And then sitting here at the Chopper show in 19, he got to talk to other people. People came up, he got to see people. They all relate with the car, he enjoyed it. I hadn't seen my dad that happy in years. And just for him to be out, to talk to people, you know, he didn't know he was here all day. I got here before noon, we went at closing. He thought he was only here for like 2 hours. It was a whole day. And everybody you talk to that got to talk to him, remember it, and they appreciate it. And I think when talking to him after that, before he got sick and everything, he really enjoyed it. He was happy, he had a smile. I was trying to get him to come to the track and I was taking it out. I was almost convinced, and then he got sick and he didn't get a chance. But I know they're up there watching me, and it's hard. He gets emotional, and I miss him.
We're wrapping up a full 3 days of just cars, and more cars at the Chopper's Rod and Custom Show here at the Sportsplex in North Olmsted, Ohio. I'm Bill Bronco. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next Cruisin'.